How's it going, everybody? Hunter with Rainier Arms, gunsmith here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install our Pro Endplate. Alright, so starting off, first thing we got to do, take our stock off. Most of them you have to pull straight down on this little lever here to get the clearance to take it off your buffer tube. Next up, you got to remove the old buffer tube and buffer system so we can get to that Endplate. So first thing we got to do, we have our reaction block here. We're going to put our wrench on, throw it in the vise, and then we want to line up the lugs on the castle nut. Good. Then we want to break it free. And we should be able to take this off. So once we get to this point here, we want to be careful because there's a couple of springs behind this end plate that capture your rear takedown pin. And then also we got to consider our buffer spring and buffer here as well. So pushing straight down on that buffer retainer, that'll release your buffer and spring. That'll come right out. We'll set that to the side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slowly pull out on our end plate. So this will allow us to start to see that spring that captures that rear takedown. We'll just kind of move this off to the side just a little bit, and then what we'll do is we'll actually take that spring out, put it somewhere safe. Next up, we're going to be pushing down on our buffer retainer, so that way we can take off our buffer tube. And with our fingers still on there, we want to be careful because this will go launching across the room if we're not careful. Alrighty, now that we got to this point, we want to be sure to turn it over and catch that little detent, set that off to the side somewhere safe, and then we're also going to pull our rear takedown pin as well. Alright, so just going over the quick side-by-side with our two end plates. So the main reason why we would want to swap out this end plate is to give ourselves another mounting point for our sling. And then we're also going to give a small cosmetic upgrade with a nice black finish. So it kind of goes well with our lower. Okay. Alrighty, so now putting on our new end plate here, you got to be careful of this locator right here. So this will go right inside the groove on our buffer tube, like so. And then next up, we're just going to start threading this on to our receiver. Just getting it started. Now we want to be sure to watch this spot right here, so we leave ourselves enough room to get our buffer retainer and our buffer retainer spring. Be sure to just depress it all the way. And we'll slowly get to the point where it'll just cover the back half or the back quarter of your buffer retainer. Next up, we got to fix our rear takedown. You can see our detents right there. We need to take a small pick or something. Just push it back just a little. And then with our rear takedown pin, put it in so that there's a channel that's facing back towards the detent. Then we grab our spring. We left ourselves enough space here. So we just drop our spring back in. And this is where you're going to have to be a little careful not to bind this up. We want to be sure it's nice and linear. See how it's kind of binding up right there? So we'll just take our pick and just kind of push it straight. Then at this point, we want to make sure it's captured. Good. And then we'll just push our plate straight down. Alrighty, now that we've got this hand tight, we'll go back over to our vise. Flip our wrench on, throw it back in the vise. Make sure all of our lugs are locked in place. And we're just going to give it a nice and tight. Most castle nut torque specs are about 40 foot-pounds. Usually you can get away with going about hands a little bit past it. Alrighty everybody, that was a quick overview of how we install our Rainier Arms Pro Endplate. This was Hunter with Rainier Arms. See you guys next week.